Well, hello, beautiful Love Your Life Show friends. Welcome. I'm Beverley Buckley, and welcome to the Love Your Life Show. I'm so unbelievably excited to have you here with me today because we have Nikole Kadel, who is joining us this evening. Well, it's evening here in South Africa, but it may be the middle of the day there wherever you are, because I think you might be in the States. So before I actually bring her onto the screen, I just want to give you a little bit of info about the lovely Nikole and let you know a little bit about what she's up to and wonderful gifts that she brings to our beautiful planet. She has lived her path of awakening from a very, very young age. She brings with her the awareness of heaven's gifts through the beauty of nature, the natural world, and the wonders that it holds. Her clients reawaken to magic and beauty within themselves. Nikole is the senior member of Rika Zimmerman's team and is on the forefront of creating world-changing and dynamic programs that expand consciousness. This woman is amazing. I know, right? We are so lucky to have her today. She has guided thousands worldwide to know their divinity. Nikole leads mystical, life-altering journeys to be with humpback whales. Yes, I said that. Yes, true. And dolphins at sacred sites. She also offers highly sought after private sessions of energetic healing, phone facilitation, and group classes. Her playful heart has brought her abundant, fantastical experiences that most would say could only occur in imagination. It is her joy to share these very real possibilities with us. So today we are bringing on Nikole Kadel. Yes, and I'm going to introduce her to you now. Just give me a second to, there we are. Nikole, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Beverly. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. I'm so excited to be here with you today. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yay! And I just also want to shout out, we've got Joe, we've got Helen, I'm just checking all the lovely people in the room today because we've got quite a few people in the room today. We've got Joe, we've got Helen, we've got Katie, we've got Erin. This little thingy doesn't want to move down, so I can't really get to the rest of you. But it would be wonderful if you could just give us a shout out in the chat. There is a little chat box there, and you can say, hello, I'm here. Then we can just call out more of you there just to have you in the room with us to come and play. That would be amazing. Yes, yes.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Can feel you all out there. Thank you so much for taking the time to have some fun with Beverly and I today. It's going to be a really great time together. Yay.
And our theme of the show today is actually about delighting in the wild adventure of life and delighting in everything that is so abundantly showing us all the time. And Nikole, I'd like to find out a little bit about how you got to where you are today and how you've been delighting in the wild adventure of life.
Oh, I love that. That's such a great question, Beverly, because it really is where my heart is delighting in the wild adventure of life and letting this earth, this beautiful planet of ours, be a co-collaborator, a co-creator in those adventures. And so, I was that little girl that was outside with the dirty feet, hugging the trees and collecting rocks and just loving the friends that I had that was nature. And that part of me has always continued until this very day. And as I grew up, I realized not everybody had that connection, that friendship, that beauty that I had every day when I wake up and I see the trees or I see the sky. It's like I remember how loved I am and how supported I am on this planet. And that part of me that was a gift as a little girl, I realize is now something that I can help people remember in their lives, because we're surrounded by love and beauty all the time. But sometimes in our world with the stresses of life and the things that come up, we just forget what it's like to walk barefoot and have joy in every moment. And so I am on a mission to bring that back for everyone so that we can love our lives and so that we can have a life that we love and realize that it's actually easier than we may imagine to have that every day, because it's all around us and it's part of who we are.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. And so you're one of the things that I know that you've made your personal mission is to allow people to connect with dolphins and obviously humpback whales and yes, you do your private sessions as well, but nature in the sense of getting in the water. So, getting your shoes off, literally, and getting in the water.
Yeah. Yes. Well, because I look for who are the allies on this planet that want to help me reawaken humanity to the joy of living. And the dolphins and the humpback whales are some of my perfect allies because they are that. And so absolutely, I've been in the water with the spinner dolphins in Hawaii probably 30 or 40 times now with groups of people. I know, I love my life, right? And so it's and the dolphins, they are that joy. You can tap into, we can do it right now. We can just feel the dolphins with us. We don't even have to be in the water. We can just ask their energy to be present with us. And you start to feel the effervescence of the joy of life. You start to feel how they can dance through your space, dance through your heart in any moment. So you don't have to be with them physically in the water, but certainly, my pleasure is to play with them every day and then go and visit them in the physical every now and then in the water. And then you can just, remember that joy. That oftentimes when we go out on the boats with the boat captains, these spinner dolphins, they jump out of the water and they spin. And the boat captains always like to do this little joke like, well, does anybody know why do the spinner dolphins spin out of the water? And people come up with all sorts of, biological reasons of why they would do that. And actually the answer is they spin out of the water because they can. Wow. They spin out of the water because it's joyful. They spin out of the water because it's fun. There's no real requirement of spinning out of the water. They spin because they can. And so for me, seeing that spinning, it brings that spinning within my own heart. It's like, okay, what joyful acts can I do today because I can, dancing, singing, hugging a tree, loving life, what are these things that we can do because we can and because it's a celebration of life? And that's what the dolphins remind me of. And of course, the humpback whales, that energy is, you can feel, we can tap in right now as we feel this effervescence of the dolphins playing in as we invite in the humpback whales. There's an ancient wisdom that they bring with them. You can feel it kind of a calmer, big, huge energy and this knowing about vibrational frequency and this knowing about ancient healing codes and communication using frequency and all the wisdom. We often associate the humpback whales with wisdom because they have a connection to the Akashic records, to the memories of this planet and beyond. And so being with them, you can rest in that space of beautiful knowing, of knowing who you are and knowing how we're all connected on this planet and beyond. And so they bring in that joy. So you can see how there's different beings that we can play with, the dolphins, the whales, the flowers, the sun, the sky, all of them have different gifts for us. And so I just like to play with them all. And that's why I do. That's why I've created a life where I get to connect with these beings in person and in my meditations and in groups of people, because it just makes it more joyful and it reminds us how much beauty there is to enjoy on this planet together.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Like I've always felt a strong connection to the dolphins, but the interesting thing is the minute you started speaking about the dolphins, I found myself yawning, which is obviously my energy is like expanding, right?
Yes, it often happens, when we go swimming with the dolphins. So I say that some of my best naps are after I swim with the dolphins, because what's happening, Beverly, is there's so much information that is coming in. It's almost like a cosmic code information. It's a frequency that's coming in. And so if you find yourself breathing, you're bringing it in with your breath, right? So your yawning is like asking for more information to be brought in with the breath. And also, like I said, sometimes when we swim with the dolphins, you just go out afterwards. You're just in that dream world with them, because that information needs a place for your mind to get out of the way to integrate. And so it's really very aware that you realize you started yawning and you're going, okay, I'm not just all of a sudden tired. What is this that's happening to me? Right. And so Absolutely. You're receiving information and your body is doing what it can to bring it in as deeply as it can in conjunction with the dolphins and the whales and all the beings that they work with. So that's very cool. That's very cool. It shows me, just how quick that can happen, just how quickly the information can start working. I mean, and that really is part of what I show people, is that it's not complicated. All we did was we invited the dolphins and the whales to be with us, and they're there and they're talking to you and they're working with your body and they're bringing in information and helping you expand your consciousness. I love that. I mean, why not let it be that simple and that magical at the same time, right?
Oh, man, I love it. It's like wonderful. And everyone on the call, are you feeling this dolphin energy? Because I'm certainly feeling the dolphin energy. And that humpback whale, I've never really connected with the whales before, but I can actually feel that. It's quite, it is. The Akashic record you were speaking about and the wisdom, it's like a very, very wise old teacher soul, It's wonderful.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, the thing that you realize, I'm getting ready in a month to bring a group of people to swim in the ocean in the South Pacific with the humpback whales. I love it. And the thing that surprises you once you're actually in the water with them, here you are in the water, this little tiny being with this humongous being in the water, right? And yet you realize in their enormity is a huge amount of gentleness. I mean, there's no intimidation being in the water with them. There's such an acknowledgement of you and your space, and there's such a gentleness. I mean, that was actually the most surprising thing for me. Here I am, I jump in the water for the first time with a humpback whale, and I'm thinking, I have no idea what this is going to feel like. And I was surprised at how gentle, how safe, how loving. I mean, it was actually overwhelming. It was so gentle. It's almost like they're showing us the power that there is within gentleness, if that makes sense. There's like this huge power that can be brought into our lives with gentleness. And I love that that's part of their message. Can you feel that, everyone? It's just this real, yeah, it's wonderful.
And the gentleness almost feels like a connection very much more to like a focused, present, now moment experience, because it's almost like you have to be so acutely, specifically aware. It's like if you think about holding a little flower and you're being as gentle as you can, it's like, oh, you have to be totally there, right?
That's very well said, Beverly. It really is, because it does bring you into that present moment, and there's such an aliveness in that moment. I mean, that's the energy that I was getting as you were demonstrating that, is that aliveness of, wow, this is life, and I'm totally present and totally living it. And I had the great pleasure of having this baby humpback whale swim right next to me when I was there last year, and I got to look her directly in the eye. I mean, very, very close, within feet of each other. And that description that you said about that, almost like time standing still, I was just looking into the vastness of her eyes, and she was looking into mine, and there was no separation between the two of us. And it was just God, it was just God looking at God, into the infiniteness of God. It was so incredible. And, they bring that to us, but that moment of connection, it's available with anything. It's absolutely available with a flower. I love that you brought up the flowers, because I work with flowers too. We work with flowers a lot in Bali. Every flower is a mandala of information, and every flower can work with us, in the most amazing ways. And there's different configurations of their geometries. And so absolutely, you can have a moment of complete oneness with the flower and all the information that it contains as well, that mandala of information. So again, it's, I would love for you to come swim with the whales with me, but you don't have to have this moment of oneness and connection with all that is.
Yes, totally. The other thing is, I'm just checking here because I've got to think, Katie's saying, Bev, your video is off, Are you seeing me, guys? I just want to check if you guys can see me or not now, because I've got the video on myself. I'm moving between myself and Nikole, so let me know if you can see right now. Yes, no, maybe. Other than that, back to the flowers, right?
Yeah, back to the flowers.
There's a little ad break there. Now we're back to the flowers, right? One of the things that my fiance, I'm just going to do this. Give me a second. Better. No. Oh, well, doesn't matter. Okay. So one of the things that my fiance always used to say to me was, there are always flowers for those who choose to see them, which is also a very interesting thought, isn't it? There are, yeah. That was one of the first things he always said to me, and I would, with the receiving thing as well, is he loves to buy me flowers. He wants to buy me flowers all the time. So, and I'm like, you don't really have to buy me flowers all the time. He's like, no, I do. I have to buy you flowers all the time because there are always flowers for those who choose to see them,
And you choose to see them. I mean, that really is beautiful metaphorically, and actually it connects very deeply with what I show people, is that, you can walk from your building to your car and totally miss everything around you. You can miss the sun that is kissing your skin, the flowers that are waving hello to you, the leaves that are on the tree, singing you a song. You can be so in your head that you walk from your building to the car and miss a whole world of celebration and love. Or if you choose to see the flowers, you can see the flowers. If you're one of those people that wants to bring awareness back into your life, bring awareness back into how loved you are, nature and this exact example is perfect. Because again, sometimes we overlook or we call certain flowers weeds, right? Well, what's a weed? It's, I think it was like Winnie the Pooh that said, well, a weed is just a flower that's misunderstood or something like that, It's like, and the thing that I find too is that, so you take the first step of noticing, you walk outside and you notice the flowers, but then what starts to happen is, if you're really quiet within your own heart, you will find you notice them noticing you back, right? And so there's a communication that happens. Nature is very subtle in her communication, but you notice the flower, and then the reciprocity is you feel the flower noticing you back. And then once again, it's that same experience with the whale and the whale eye. You're noticing one another and you're appreciating one another. I mean, and that actually makes it even more juicy. So say you notice the flower, you notice the flower noticing you. Add a little gratitude on top of that, and it's the best day. Again, how simple. But if you offer some gratitude from your heart, if you're walking out and you're offering this gratitude from your heart, and you're noticing the love that you return, that you receive in return for that. Again, we're in this world where a lot of people are talking about it's stressful and, this world is topsy-turvy and all these things. And yet, how often do we give ourselves the gift of just noticing?
Okay, I think we might have just lost Nikole. Can everyone see me right now? I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. I think Nikole just exited the moment. I think she's going to be back in a minute, so just give us a minute. So hi guys, hi Sarah Lynn, hi Joe, hi Katie. Hello friends. Can you see me? You can't see me. So no being you can't see me. I'm trying to just understand because I can see me. So let's just see if Nikole is there. Nikole. Okay. Give us 2 seconds, guys. Yes, you can see me? You can see my picture. Oh my goodness. We're having a fun day today. Okay, let's see what's happening with Nikole. So we always have little glitches, and sometimes, not all the time. Ah, Nikole's back. Nikole?
There we are. I wasn't sure who disappeared.
you disappeared. I was like, okay, but people can't see me. They can see my photo.
I disappeared. I
Okay.
love technology. It's so funny.
I think we were reaching a different level of energy there. Yeah,
Yes.
we were speaking about you seeing yourself through the plants, and then you just disappeared, and I was like,
Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, yes. Yeah, the plant life got so excited, right? It fried all the circuits. It happens. It happens on these consciousness live streams for sure. Well, I'm glad we're back. And, absolutely. I love that we brought up the flowers as the example, because again, it's the way that we can be reminded of the love that's all around us and the love that's in our heart on this planet, that sometimes, people feel stressed, or they feel like there's, negativity happening or whatever. And so for us to live in the world that we want to live in, the world that notices the flowers, the world that, feels the gratitude we have in our hearts for everything that's around us. And so that opportunity is there. I mean, even when you're sitting within a building, I have these beautiful plants right behind me. I can feel them. I can say hello to them just, right now with my heart, and I can feel them contributing to everything that we're up to right now. It's beautiful.
It is so wonderful. And you know what else is really interesting is the thing about, I don't know who I was speaking to. I think it was Melissa, and we were speaking, and she said to me, look at the trees. And I said, oh wow, and there's a breeze going through the trees. But I thought, whoa, is it the breeze moving the leaves, or is the leaves moving the breeze?
Oh, I love that. I love that. But that's what starts to happen. I mean, Beverly, that's a perfect example. It's like you start noticing just how magical life is. I mean, nature wants to show us that. And so those ideas of like, well, wait a minute, it may not be exactly as it appears. It's actually a lot more juicy and a lot more magical than we ever could imagine. And so I love that. I love that. I often find that when I work with the sky, I love to just lay on my back in the grass and work with the sky and work with the spaciousness of the sky. And I start feeling that space, flow into me, feeling, you can feel it right now. You can feel the sky, the spaciousness of the sky flow into you. And then it starts to meld with your own spaciousness, the spaciousness of your own being. And then again, you go, well, which space is which, and where was there ever any separation? And you're telling me I'm the sky and I am the spaciousness, the limitlessness of the sky? Yeah, you are. And again, it just took us 5 seconds to connect to that. Yes.
Wow, that is, and I just felt that now, and it's such a beautiful way to explore the space, because
yes,
and I've never thought of that, because oftentimes you think about just expanding your energy, or breathing out and making more space within yourself, but you could quite easily just connect to the sky and go, wow, I am the sky is me, whether it's day or night. And how interesting that I'm seeing that in that cloud, and that in that cloud, and that in that cloud, for example, because those are aspects of what your perception is perceiving, right?
Absolutely. Well, and it's wonderful to do it both during the day and at nighttime, because you'll feel different things. There'll be different experiences of that spaciousness. I mean, and it's also a way to play with infinite too, because when you're looking at the sky and you're feeling the spaciousness of the sky, there's no end to it that you can feel, right? So you can just keep expanding, and as that spaciousness is pouring into your heart, it's just expanding, and it really is boundless. It's completely boundless. It shows us how we are boundless beings of awareness, right? And so it's a wonderful thing. And the sky is always there for you. I mean, that's the thing. It doesn't have to be complicated. It's there for us all the time, just like the earth is always below our feet, right? So we can always take a moment to connect in and let that nurture us, let that nurture our days and our lives, and let us feel supported and loved in any moment that we're either not feeling that, or any moment that we could use more of that, which is every moment, right? So let's just keep expanding it. Yeah.
I love it. I love that we're in a space in time now where we can just so easily connect to Mother Nature again, where it almost felt like there was a while where it just felt like, where is it? Ah! And now it's like there all the time. It's, oh, thank goodness, I feel normal again.
Well, you know what's really cool about that, though, Beverly? It comes back to there's flowers for those who are willing to see it, because it's always been there, right? It has always been there. It's just that us as humans are consciously taking our awareness and reconnecting, right? It's like sometimes we got lost. I mean, even day to day, it happens moment to moment. Are you aware of the beauty around you, or are you aware of the stress around you? You know, and it's just a choice, and it's just a fine tuning of our awareness. But so what it shows me about you is you're choosing to see the flowers, you're choosing to feel the nature, you're choosing to be in that, and that's actually then informing everything that you see in your life. And so, you know, even within a city, absolutely, there is so much that, you know, everything is nature at its fundamental, you know, essence, right? And so even when you're in a building, you can connect into all of the beings that contributed to the structure of that building, the wood, the sand, and the cement, you know, all of it can contribute to you, and you can feel yourself as part of the whole anywhere you are. And of course, being within a building, you can also feel outside the building, the sky above, the earth below, the trees outside, you know, the birds singing, you know, all of that is definitely available to us. And you know, I realize it may sound very simple, but it absolutely can change your life. You know, one of the things that I offer people, just again, a very simple gratitude exercise of, okay, so you've got to drive somewhere and you're in your car and you're driving. Feel your heart open to what you're seeing outside your window. Feel your heart connecting in gratitude with the trees that you're passing, the rolling hills, the grasses, even the other drivers and people in the other cars, and just offer that gratitude and drive in that space of gratitude and appreciation for everything that's around you. And your commute will be totally different. It'll be more love-filled. It'll be more joyful. It'll be more the energy that you choose to have a life that you love, right? Rather than, oh, I hate commuting. I hate traffic, right? It's more like, oh, I wonder how many beings I get to be grateful for in my drive today, right? It's really fun.
It is. And we've got Katie saying it's all the energy. Well, that was obviously our little mix-up just now. Magic. Joe is saying magic can be as simple as an observation. Helen is saying so true. And Joe is saying the choice is magic. And yes, when you love your life, you have more magic. And when you have more magic, you love your life. Yes?
Yes, and yes. And I love that, because, you know, we talk about, well, what is magic? What is miracles? And I love how Joe said magic can be as simple as an observation. I mean, that is really wonderful, because, you know, miracles are just something that's outside our frame of reference. It's something that maybe is unexpected. We weren't expecting it to happen. And it's like, it's a miracle that this happened. But once those things become normal for us, then the bar is ever raised of what is magic and what is miracles. So for me, you know, a deer coming right up to me and connecting with me and sitting with me is not, you know, it's still magical, but it's actually become the norm, because I've cultivated that as part of my life. That's part of who I am, you know, and that's part of, yes, this is the life I choose to live, a life where deer are able to come right near me and be with me, right? And so as we're starting off, though, if that happens to somebody that's never happened to, that is magic, right? That is absolutely magical the first time it happens. But it's not to say it discounts it the 1,000th time it happens. It's just when you notice it as a magical occurrence, then you say, yes, I want more of that in my life, and then more of that can happen, right? Then it continues to happen, then it continues to happen, and then you notice even more magic happening every day. And so that's, you know, that's the beauty of allowing magic and miracles to be part of your regular life, so that you can continue to just be in awe of your life. I mean, that's what happens, is it's like you never cease to be amazed by the next level of magic and miracle that you get to witness when you're saying that, yes, this is part of what I choose for my life, and this is part of what I'm bringing my awareness to in my world, and letting nature be one of your guides to that. Because, you know, I really do think that nature is one of the bridges to our magical world. nature often speaks to us in synchronicity. And so we may have a prayer in our heart and we're saying, God, universe, give me a sign. Well, oftentimes those signs come as a bird flying right in front of you at that moment, or a butterfly landing on a flower right next to you. And those are absolutely nature working in conjunction with the universe to give you that sign, to give you that synchronicity, to give you that message that your heart was asking for. And so what a shame if we totally miss the message, right? We pray and pray and pray and say, my prayers are never answered. And yet they're answered right in front of you if you just take that moment to be aware of the messages that are right in front of you.
I love it. I love that. I love that. And Joe's also saying, yes, 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 and yes, 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 yes. Love it.
The magical being is right there with us. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And he's also asking, are magic and miracles the same?
That's a really fun question, you know, and that's part of what I take into my own meditation, because like I was saying, a miracle is something that is unexpected and that we're not, you know, that we're not necessarily expecting, and yet we know is a possibility, right? And so magic is, I would say they're close sisters, right? I would say they're very much close sisters, because it speaks to the realm of possibilities that are maybe beyond our mind, but our hearts know, our divine selves know. And oftentimes, you know, it's interesting as you travel around the world and you see how different cultures interact with possibilities, you realize that what's miraculous in one culture is the norm in another culture. I bring groups of people to Bali, and what I love about Bali is that the children there are not taught limitations when it comes to certain magical possibilities, that they grow up and those things are never, you know, taught to them like, well, that's just part of your imagination, or that's not possible, or these things are, you know, imaginary, which is what happened to me as a child here, you know, in the United States is, okay, well, you have a great imagination, Nikole. Those things are actually just a part of your mind and not real possibilities. And so I had to untrain myself from that, you know, indoctrination from my culture. But there's different cultures where magic and possibilities and working with the elements of nature is just the norm. And so I love to go to places like that because it's like, yes, this is what my heart knows is true as well, that it's just, you know, absolutely you can work with the river to clear all obstacles, and the river will speak to you and will work with you on bringing in whatever you need. You know, there's so many examples that as you start to explore and start to say, yes, I'm accepting these magic and miracles into my life, then the world will show you, just what's out there and just what's possible. And that's where, you know, in my bio, you mentioned that there's certain things that people would say are impossible, you know, or that are part of the imagination, that I'm like, no, it's actually a very real possibility. These things are very real possibilities, and they're actually more close to you and more available than you may even realize. It's very simple. And that's why I start with nature as an example, as that bridge. Does that make sense?
It makes beautiful. It sounds beautiful. It sounds, you know, I recognize the nature. Nature is the most amazingly expansive, all possibility teacher, if you want to call it that. And one of the things as well is, like you mentioned, you're seeing the butterfly or the dolphin or the tree or the flower as actually a reflection of yourself. So you're seeing yourself in that aspect of nature, and it's almost as if nature is constantly and consistently reflecting back to us who we are on a consistent basis and saying, remember, 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 remember.
It's absolutely true. And you and I know, Beverly, that leads to our lives being more magical than we can imagine. That leads to, you know, as we remember who we are, that is why it's such a powerful yet gentle reminder of who we are, because then we're able to follow our dreams. We're able to bring into the world the lives that we knew were possible, that are beyond our imagination, even better than that, because we do remember who we are. And that is part of the gift, that having this awareness and this connection and this intimacy frequency with everything that's around us affords us. It allows just beauty to be around us every single day, and for it to be a reflection of our own beauty. Absolutely. When we see a sunset, we should be reminded of how beautiful we are. You know, we have that energy. We see a sunset or a sunrise and we're like, oh, look at the beauty. And it's like, well, yes, look at how beautiful I am. Look at how beautiful we are as one, right? That it is a reflection of your beauty. And if we had more people that were able to live from that space of knowing their own beauty, it would be an even more beautiful, miraculous world, because we would have people choosing that and seeing the flowers every day and not just walking over them, calling them weeds, you know?
Yes, 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 yes. And one of my favorite flowers that I actually have been looking at quite a bit is the dandelion. Well, I think the part of the dandelion, the top part of it. And the funny thing about dandelion is it's also can be classified as a weed. But
Yep.
the funny thing about dandelion as well is it's a very powerful medicine. So
Absolutely.
nature isn't only about the magic of the seeing, it's also got the physical benefits as well. And Katie's saying we are nature, magical and miraculous. Yeah, we are. That's definitely true. But I think we're also seeing the medicine in nature as well, yes?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I love that because they talk about dandelion absolutely being a tonic for the liver and all sorts of things, right? And so here we are, this medicine is coming to us in our yards, right? And I would even go so far to say as there's an intelligence of, okay, this household requires more liver support, so we're going to send all the dandelions there, right? Right? And then we just totally overlook it. But you know, but isn't it interesting if you just shift your thinking a little bit, like, oh, thank you for the gift of all this medicine and for all this intelligence. It's like, it's a really fun game, actually. If you go out into your yard and you go, well, what is here? What has migrated here naturally? And what are the medicinal qualities of this? Or what are the energy that I'm receiving from this plant that may be here for me and my family? And, you know, it's a fun way to just have that connection and to actually open up the communication with the nature that's around you. You know, like I was saying with the deer, so I see deer in my yard all the time. I'm like, okay, so what is it that the deer wants to show me so deeply? And I also have dandelions. I have ladybugs. You know, the ladybugs come to me all the time, and I feel like they have very special messages. And it just makes life more fun if, rather than going, oh, why do I have all these, you know, bumblebees in my yard? It's like, well, why do you have all those bumblebees in your yard? Those amazing beings that know how to work with the essence of flowers. And, you know, it's just a matter of shifting our thinking just a little bit to all of a sudden be in this world that is more magical than we even realize. It's very easy.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And like, even where things like, especially that where, for example, you think, oh my gosh, we've had a few ants that have decided to move in. and it's like, you can look at it as an ant infestation, like, oh my God, they're infesting my life. Or you can look at it and go, okay, cool. So they want to share the sweetness of life with me, you know?
Yes. They want to share the sweetness of life and what do ants know about working in community and caring for each other and, you know, all of those things. And oftentimes, you know, once we receive the message, actually, you know, they can move on peacefully because they know you got it. They know that you received the message, right? That you took it in, and you can also communicate with them. Okay, so my preference is that you're outside my home. You know, again, very subtly from your heart, you can play with that, and then it actually becomes fun to see. Okay, did the ants move? You know, I've made these requests. Is that, you know, we can just play with these things because why not, right? Why not let it all be part of this exploration, that exploration that we had as a kid, you know, that we were just out exploring and enjoying the joy of it all. We've lost so much of that, and it's very easy to bring back in. And you'll be surprised too, because there'll be ways that it's brought back in just because you've invited it in your heart. You know, we can do this even just right now, just feel that invitation of the exploration coming back into your heart, that exploration of, I'm open to receiving nature's messages. I'm open to exploring the joy of the communication and the receiving of all of the information that is all around me all the time, but I just haven't noticed yet. That awareness of the energy. You know, it's just like a flower blossoming in your heart. I mean, that's how I experience it, is it's just like allowing our hearts to open even more to all of the messages, to all of the love that's all around us right now, and letting it be this fun exploration into more of who we are, and using the messages from nature and the messages that are all around us as that vehicle, as that bridge. Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, that
is so yummy. Wow.
that feels really good.
Mm.
Really, really
And Joe is saying, tree limbs moving in the wind teach flexibility. I like that one. And
I love it.
yeah, that's a good one, right? I must share a story. I'd love to share a story quickly.
Please.
So it was a couple of weeks ago. It was very funny. We've been having, obviously it's winter now, and like today has been a really cold day. But it's been thunder and lightning here. And one of the things about thunder and lightning is it's always something that's been very soothing to me. And somebody once told me, it was a shaman that I met, said that thunder and lightning is actually very strong medicine. So now I look at thunder and lightning as like medicine. But anyway, that's another long story. But anyway, what happened was bees. So we had this thing going around on Facebook. Oh, help the bees. Like the bees haven't got enough, you know, because of the droughts that we've had. They don't have enough food because of the So what you can do is you can just get a bit of sugar and mix it with some vinegar and some water and put in a little bag and poke a few holes in the bag and put it around your house, so that like, or around, you know, your garden, so that these little bees can have some sugar to take back to their hive, so that they can, you know, they can go through the winter and continue till the summer, you know, because there's been a lot of information about the bees and what's happening to the bees and blah, 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 blah. So obviously we were going out to a course, and I'd made some of the sugar water, but I'd put a little bit of honey in as well, because I was, a little bit of honey for them, you know, like I was like so proud of myself. And, and I had it in a bowl, and I thought, I can't put it just in the bowl because they'll fly into the bowl and they'll drown. So I thought, And then I had these little plastic containers, and like I just put a little bit in the bottom of the container, right?
Yeah.
So in like 4 of them, and I put them outside our we've got a sliding door to our apartment. Outside, I just put it on a table, because we have a table outside. I put it on the table, and I thought, okay, that's great. They'll be able to get. So I'm thinking, little bee flies and drinks a little bit of water, takes it back to the nest. Little bee fly. This was my visualization of what I thought it was going to be. Now, you know, I'm going to be grateful. Thank you, Beverley, for giving us some sugar water. You're so wonderful. Blah blah blah. So there we go, and we come back the following afternoon. So this was in the afternoon we left. We went, and we came back the following afternoon. And as we came back, my fiance's mother also arrived back, and she's like, "Oh my God, there's a swarm of bees!" There was this massive swarm of bees right outside our apartment window door that we couldn't get in, because it was like a massive one. And there were bees, there were wasps, there were like all different types of bees, like having a party. You're probably going, oh! I can imagine in Beeland, it must have been amazing. And Joe's like, well, we can't get to our door. So he had to get the hose pipe and just like spray to try and get them to dissipate. And he said, you know, we might have done more harm than good here in trying to do this good deed. And I was like, the message that immediately came to me was like, Mother Nature's got her stuff handled. You don't need to mess with it too much. We get the food coming from that good space. And the funny thing was, my fiance got stung by a bee, and my mother-in-law got stung by a bee. Which, I mean, it's not necessarily a good thing, but she was freaking out, like proper. It was so funny because her husband, my fiance's father, he was there as well, but he's got diabetes, and he's in a wheelchair. Yeah. And he's in the wheelchair, and he's like just sitting chilled in the wheelchair, and she's like wheeling him around the garden, like, there's bees, I'm getting stuck, then I mustn't get stuck. And she's going around the garden like this. And then Then she says to Joe, Data's freaking out. Data's freaking out. And Joe looks and says, Data's completely calm. You're freaking out.
I love it. I love the story because it illuminates so much, and it illuminates also about perspective too, right? Like you're like, wow, look at how many bees are here, and they're shocked by how many bees are there. And I think what's so beautiful though is that love that you had in your heart to try and do something. You know, I love that the message was, hey, thank you, we got it, but that also that you had that love in your heart, and that, you know, it was received by them, apparently, right? Or obviously, right? That they responded in kind. And you know, and again, it's like absolutely everybody received what they needed to out of that experience from the bees. And you know, and you now know that you can call and they'll respond, right? That's actually that call and response communication with nature. And you know, and I love that. You know, one of the things that I have given myself as a gift throughout the years is spending time alone in nature. And you know, I'll go out for maybe a 7-day vision quest. I've done up to 28 days alone in the mountains of Colorado, and nature shows up as that gift. You know, it's like there's this magical way in which you become part of the entire system. You're just, you know, part of this ebbing and flowing of nature and of the system. And so speaking of the bees, I was doing a nature solo for 7 days on the beach in Baja, California, or Baja, Mexico. And all of a sudden, I heard this sound like I had never heard in my lifetime. It was this roaring sound, and I didn't know what it was. You know, I was there on the ocean. I'm going, what is this roaring sound? And all of a sudden, on the horizon, I saw there was this swarm of bees headed right for me. I mean, and I'm not talking like hundreds. I'm talking like hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of bees. They were all traveling. I don't know what they were doing exactly, but you know, in that moment, it was like, okay, so what is my choice? Do I choose to run and hide in my tent because there's an intensity to this, or there's a fear, or do I realize that this is actually an answer to one of my prayers? This is actually the bees coming, bringing me gifts, and gifts of vibration and frequency. Because so what I did was I just laid there. I laid there on a towel, and I just watched them as they flew over me. And it was one of the most intense vibrational healings I've ever received, because them all buzzing, their wings, you know, all buzzing in conjunction. It was like, I mean, you know, again, you can feel the transmission of this, the transmission of the bees and the healing and and it just buzzed through the whole body, and it just like shook through my whole body, through every cell, through every single atom of my being, and I just let it shake it out. I was like, okay, this is a gift, right? And so just letting it shake out. And I love, I mean, you can see how we talk about the dolphins and they appear. We talk about the bees and they appear energetically. And so all of you can receive the gifts that I received from this experience with the bees. You can feel the vibrations moving through your body and the transmission. And, you know, the ancient cultures worked with bees as far as being very powerful tantric practitioners of being able to transmute poison and, you know, the tantric aspect of those venomous animals. And so so the bees are very, very powerful medicine, right? So you can receive that. You can receive that as you tap into the hundreds of thousands of bees vibrating your cells through your body. And it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. And as you spend time alone, like if you ever get the gift of being alone in nature, and, you know, even taking a day out, what you realize is you really do become part of everything. It's almost like you were saying, is the breeze moving the tree, or the tree moving the breeze? It's like, am I part of, you know, I am part of all of this, and I am nature, and it's all around me. And then these synchronicities occur, like we talked about, the messages of all of a sudden, you know, you'll just be in this place of pure inner silence, and then a hummingbird will be right in front of you, you know, buzzing, 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 and it's like, and it'll have this startling effect, and it'll, you know, again, work with the energy in your system. And you know, you don't have to be some special shaman to have these experiences. It's available to all of us. It's our birthright. Being a being embodied on this planet, we get to play with things. And so why not? You know, why not let it play with all of us, and let us all be, you know, let us all be the shamans of our own lives, and
yes,
those experiences.
I love that. I love that. I love that. And I love that. Being the being, and we're talking about bees. And, you know, Joe's saying I'm allergic, but when I relax around them, I never get stung. You know,
Yep.
he's saying that.
Yeah, that's very interesting, right? So what is it again in that communication that we don't realize just how subtle that we are giving and receiving messages all the time, right? And so that's part of the awareness training, and that's part of what in my work sometimes I help people to notice, because it's just a matter of noticing. It's like you may not realize how you are in communion and conversation with everything around you all the time, and we can either be totally oblivious to that and not let it bless our lives, or we can be completely in tune with that and let it bless our lives. And so I say, let's let it bless our lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bees, you can bless me.
Yes.
And bees also are about abundance, isn't it? Like, because they obviously, like, they've got this golden honey, and it's like there's so many messages you can receive through looking at that and recognizing, wow, there's so many bees. Oh, wow, how abundant am I? Or like the vibe. And I could feel that transmission that you just gave us there with those bees. I could feel that energy going, oh, wow, that is so, wow, powerful. You wouldn't think that until you did it. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it is. And so, I mean, think about it. Even the next time that you eat honey, think about the wisdom of the bees that created that honey, and how that's that's like a symphony of flowers in there as well. It's like all of the information just in a single bite of honey that can bless us and bless our whole world. You know, the ancient Taoists used to wake up in the morning and go sip the dew off of different flowers, and that was, you know, essentially the beginning of flower essences, right? They knew the medicine of the different flowers, and, you know, sipping the dew off of the flowers. Well, when you think about honey, or you think about bees, they do that work for us. They actually have this like super potentized experience of all these flowers, because they go around to all the different flowers, and so they receive that information from all the flowers, and then we get to partake in it by eating honey, or by, you know, just being around bees, or being around the bees while they're around the flowers. And, you know, again, it's just a matter of changing your thinking and changing, you know, letting your heart show you some of these things, because it's, you know, you might not have ever thought of it that way, right? Like it might not have just dawned on you like, oh, and yet that's part of my message, is like, this world is so much more magical than we even realize. And if we just let our hearts open to new ways of looking at things, new ways of experiencing things, new ways of being with each other, new ways of being with nature, you know, because this isn't just about us in isolation out with our trees. Of course, that's wonderful, and I encourage that, but it also starts to play out in our human relationships, in the way that we interact with each other, in the way that we become surrounded by beings of similar vibration that want to explore these things with us too, right? So then you can go out as a group and have a magical experience in nature, because nature is available for that.
Yes,
absolutely.
And that's exactly what you do. And you've got the humpback whales happening in a month's time, but that's fully booked. And then you have one in a Bali trip in 2017, and then another humpback whale one after that, I believe. Yes.
That's right. Thanks for bringing that up. Yes, I'm so lucky. I'm leaving in a month to go be with the humpback whales and this beautiful group of people. And so that one is full, but we are we're starting to talk to people about next year. We have the island booked, and so there's information about that on my website, and also Bali. You know, I mentioned briefly bringing people to Bali, but it's so much more than what I even, you know, can explain in this entire hour of why Bali. And there's some amazing Balinese healers that we bring people to work with there that understand magic, that understand the magic of nature, the magic of healing in dance, and working with the elements and working with the flowers. We do this ceremony called a Melikat ceremony, where there are flowers that are chosen specifically for what you require, and these flowers are put into this urn. And so again, it's almost like a individualized, potentized flower essence with all these beautiful Balinese flowers, and the healer blesses these flowers, and then we do the ceremony, and these flowers are poured over your head with the water, right? And so it's we work with that, and we just have an amazing time. And so that's a very healing and nurturing and magical journey that I do, and I look forward to doing it so much. And so that's next April. And so, you know, I'm happy to give people my website if they want to connect with me and inquire about any of those things, and just, you know, stay in touch with me about any future trips or different classes that I have to offer. My website's very easy. It's my name, NikoleKadel.com, but I will spell that because my name's an unusual spelling. It's NIKOLEKADEL, NIKOLEKADEL.com. And so there's a form on there. You can connect with me, and we can chat about the trips that I have coming up and which ones would be fun for you to join. And like you mentioned too, Beverly, I love working with people one-on-one and just reawakening this, you know, being a catalyst for one another in reawakening so much beauty and so much magic, and just enjoying. That's why I love the name of your show. I love what you're encouraging people to open up to in their lives, because the more people that love their lives and love themselves, it'll create this ripple effect on this planet. And, you know, and we talk about heaven on earth, and I look at that as a literal goal. I look at that as not just something we say as this metaphoric thing, like, wouldn't it be great to live in heaven on earth? It's like, no, what does heaven on earth actually feel like to us as humans and to all the beings that live on this planet? And how do we together get there step by step, making these vibrational changes in our own hearts, connecting, you know, allowing the magic that's all around us to show us, what does heaven on earth feel like? What does that bring into being for everyone on this planet? And I really believe that there's a tipping point where, you know, those of us that are actively bringing this to the planet, it will have this ripple effect for all. And that's really my prayer and my, you know, the love in my heart that is seeking that for everyone, for sure.
I feel you like 120%. And then I was actually getting a bit like emotionally tearful there while you were saying that, because I could feel that heaven on earth energy of, it's almost this feeling of, oh, thank goodness. Yes. It's, oh, yes. Oh, finally. You know, like
yes, no, I do know, and we have these glimpses of it. Like for me, I had my glimpses in nature of like, oh, this is, you know, it's a space of no judgment, it's a space of pure love, it's a space of oneness. And we think somehow when we have other people in the equation, or we have the challenges that we do on this planet, that it's, you know, that's somehow not within our reach. And yet, if we have those moments of our own heaven on earth, if we have those moments in nature or with one another, it's creating that ripple effect. It's creating that in our hearts. It's like planting seeds, right? Why don't we plant the seeds of heaven on earth all over this planet so that nature can just do what it needs to? Water those seeds, let it bloom. Yes. And just let it naturally unfold organically. I mean, and what I love, Beverly, is you being able to tap into that so quickly, is that we can all feel that potentiality in our hearts. You know, there's so many of us that is like, oh yeah, that's not like some distant land. That's not some place in the clouds. That's actually some place that I can feel that potential in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And all I have to do is keep following that, the little whispers in our hearts, what brings that heaven on earth for all of us. And then as you plant your seeds and I plant mine, before you know it, we got flowers everywhere, especially if you're planting dandelions.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We'll have them all over the planet. It's going to be like the jungle. We are reforestation. We are reforesting.
Reforesting.
Is that the right word? We are reforestationing the planet.
Yes. Absolutely, we are. Absolutely. And, I think those seeds grow faster with giggles like that, and with laughter, and with joy, and with collaboration, and with, all the beautiful beings that are on this live stream with us, and those that will listen in the future. It's like, you are part of it. You're absolutely part of it, and you're essential to this heaven on earth. You're essential to planting those own seeds from your heart and watching them bloom. And it's different for different people, but there's the things that bring us joy, and absolutely having a life that we love is going to make that process of growth so much faster. That process of, yes, we have this world that we always have known is possible, and it's here with us now. And we can have that right now, and we can continue to allow the rippling from that knowing to go out to everyone. And then there we are, right?
I just love it. It's so beautiful. And we've got Helen saying she's sending so much love. She's got to leave, but she said she's had so much love. Thank you very much. And Helen, she's also saying to everyone else is here as well, thank you, much love. And Ariana Zimmer is also here with us. She said, heaven here on earth, yes, always. And I'll add to that, in always. Yes. I want a little quick story on the always and always. This was about, how old am I now? 14 years ago. I did a course with connecting to your guides. And one of the things that came through there was it was a shamanistic kind of spirit guide teacher. One of the things he said always, whenever he finished his channeling, was, I love you always, in always. And it's always been something that's like a theme in my life. So whenever I hear always, I'm like, in always, remember always.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Always, in always. Yes.
Yes.
You can feel the real depth of that. The real depth of that. And that we are loved always and always, and that there's reflections of that around us all the time. We can offer that to one another too, because that's the thing, is when we wake up and we feel the sun on our skin and we're grateful, then that love we have in our heart has the impact when we go down to the coffee shop and we, greet someone with that smile, with the sun coming from our heart, and when we're ordering our coffee or whatever it is. It's very, very simple and yet extremely deep. It's like the whales. It's so powerful yet so gentle. It's so powerful yet so gentle. And to really know that power is within all of us, in that gentleness that's in our hearts, in that potentiality that we can feel in our hearts, and in that sharing that we have with nature. It may go without saying, but one of the things I definitely wanted to encourage everyone to do is, in your meditations or just even in your day, go outside. Remind yourself that it's there. We can have beautiful meditations inside, but I just want to, hear from more people about, wow, well, I did my regular meditation and I did it underneath a tree, and this is what happened, right? Because again, it's like these small steps of, okay, so rather than walking around the track at the gym, I took a walk outside, and this is what happened. Because, it's just putting ourselves in that space to receive the gifts, and it's absolutely there. And one of the things that, a very simple exercise that I just, want to make sure that everybody has at their beck and call, is when you're around trees, when you think about breath and the sharing of breath and even the intimacy of the air that's on this planet. When we're around trees, I love Beverly. I watch you receive this as I say it. You're breathing it in, right? It's like this intimacy. Well, we think about with trees, their breath is a gift to us, right? They breathe oxygen for us. And then our out breath is a gift for them. The carbon dioxide, they bring that in. And there's actually like a cycle to that. Mm-hmm. And so whenever you're around trees, take a minute and just, I mean, we can do this right now just for 1 minute. Just tune into the trees that are near where you are right now. And just ask them if you can share some breath, if you can share some breath with them. Mm. And so then next we tune into our breath. We feel the intimacy of breath, how breath enters our body and it's released from our body. And there's this beautiful intimacy in that breath. And as you breathe in, you're breathing in the out breath of the tree. You're breathing in the gifts that that tree has for you in this moment. All the trees around you are supporting you in the breath that is entering your body. Mm. And then as you breathe out and you release that which no longer serves, you release, you let go into that out breath, it's a gift for the trees, for their life, for their growth. And so as you breathe in, you're breathing in their gifts. And as you breathe out, you're breathing out gifts for them. And you can feel that breath as it comes into your body. You can feel it touching inside your body. You can feel it blessing and gifting love and nurturance and healing. There's energetic information that the trees can offer in the air that you breathe into your body. And then as you release it, you can release it with gratitude and love for their growth, for their blessing, for the trees to be abundant and beautiful and loved, and to know that we humans love them deeply and love the relationship that we have with them that is as close as our breath. So just enjoy that for another minute, just breathing in the gifts from the trees, feeling the depth of the intimacy of that breath within your body, and deeply letting go and offering the gift of gratitude and letting go in your out breath. Mm.
So yummy.
It's very simple. It's very simple. And yet it really is my wish that as we go about our day, we remember, oh, the trees are blessing my breath in this very moment. Oh, there's a flower over there waving hello to me. Because as we do that, Beverly, it will create a life we love and a life that is full of love everywhere we look. So.
I love that. I love that. Wow, it was wonderful to have you on the show today, Nikole. We have gone a little bit over time, but I don't think everyone minds. I certainly, you know what? It's my show, so there.
You can do what you want. Yeah.
We're going to give you more, so just have more.
More. Why not? Let's have more of what we love. Absolutely.
Okay. So I just want to give a quick shout and a very big thank you to everyone who joined us today. I think I've got a few people in the chat: Ariana, Helen, Joe. Who else have we got in here? We've got Barbara. We've got Katie. So you were all wonderful today. Jane was also here. So it was wonderful to have you all here, and it was wonderful to have you, Nikole. Thank you so much.
I had a blast. Thank you to everyone that was here, and thank you to everyone who watches this in the future. Time and space being what it is, we're all here right now, right? And I'm just excited to connect with anyone that's interested to learn more. I'd love for people to reach out to me, and let's have some fun on this beautiful planet of ours. I am just I'm excited to share more. So thank you for the opportunity, Beverly. I had a blast talking with you today and playing with everyone.
Amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So if you would like to get in contact with Nikole, I've actually just posted it in the chat. It's
Great.
Nikole Kadel. There it is, and NIKOLEKADEL.com. And you can connect with her, find out about the Bali trip, find out about the Hope at Wells, all of those fun things.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody. Lots of love to you. Thank you, Beverly. Bye. 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 Thanks again.
No, bye. Love you. Okay, so just give me a second. I'm just loading.
Yes.
Loading. So also want to, yes, more
kisses,
blow kisses. All right, so just
bye,
thank you to everyone, and this is us. This is me signing off, Beverley Buckley with the Love Your Life show. Have an amazingly beautiful day. Have an amazingly wonderful life, and lots and lots and lots of love to you.